Have you ever imagined coming face to face with a 30-foot tall King Kong? For over a decade, guests at Universal Studios Florida experienced just that on one of the park's most iconic rides, Kongfrontation. Opening in 1990, this ride was a flagship attraction for the park, taking guests on an immersive adventure through the streets of New York City, where they encountered a rampaging animatronic King Kong. Sadly, Kongfrontation closed in 2002, but its legacy still looms large in the memories of those lucky enough to have experienced it. Today, we're diving into the story of Kongfrontation, what made it so special, why it captured the hearts of theme park fans, and how it left a lasting impact on the theme park industry. So, what made Kongfrontation such a must-do experience at Universal Studios? Let's find out. Before we get going on the journey, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and comment your favorite Kong memory. To understand the magic of Kongfrontation, we have to go back to the 1970s. The ride was inspired by the 1976 King Kong movie produced by Universal Pictures. This film reimagined the classic 1933 monster movie and introduced a new generation to the giant ape's terror in New York City. When Universal Studios Florida was being designed, the creative team had a mission: to bring Universal's most famous movies to life in a way that guests could experience firsthand. With King Kong being such an iconic character, it was a no-brainer to develop an attraction that would put guests face to face with the beast himself. But this wasn't going to be just any ride. Universal wanted Kongfrontation to be the centerpiece of the park's experience. A high-tech thrill ride that pushed to the limits of what theme parks could do. The development of Kongfrontation was led by Universal Creative, the team responsible for building the park's attractions. Their goal was to create an experience that combined animatronics, pyrotechnics, and special effects to transport guests into the middle of an action-packed blockbuster film. The ride's design was ambitious, featuring massive animatronic figures of King Kong that were incredibly detailed. These animatronics were groundbreaking at the time, with the figures standing over 30 feet tall and featuring realistic movements, facial expressions, and even breathing effects. It was a marvel of engineering, and the designers were determined to make it as lifelike as possible. They used state-of-the-art technology, including hydraulic systems and advanced robotics, to give Kong a range of movements that would make guests feel like they were truly encountering the giant ape. So, what was it like to ride Kongfrontation? Let's walk through the experience from start to finish. Before you boarded the ride, the adventure began in the queue line. Universal designed the queue to resemble the streets of New York City in the middle of chaos. As you made your way through, you'd pass by storefronts and newsstands, all designed to immerse you in the setting. Television monitors displayed news reports about King Kong's rampage through the city. These reports featured Universal actors, some dressed as reporters and others as New Yorkers caught in the mayhem. The atmosphere was electric, tensions were high, and the sense of urgency made it feel like you were truly stepping into a crisis. Once you reached the loading platform, guests boarded an aerial tram, which was modeled after New York's Roosevelt Island Tramway. The trams were designed to lift riders above the city streets, providing a bird's-eye view of the chaos below. The idea was to give guests a sense of being in an emergency evacuation scenario, fleeing from King Kong's rampage. It was a clever way to build suspense, and the ride setup made you feel as if you were vulnerable, suspended in midair as you prepared to face the beast. As the tram moved through the ride, guests saw scenes of destruction. Burning buildings, crushed cars, and shattered storefronts. The ride utilized practical effects like fire, smoke, and explosions to create a sense of urgency and danger. You'd hear the roars of King Kong echoing through the city, along with screams and sirens blaring from all directions. The sound design was critical in building up the tension as the tram made its way through the chaos. Then, you'd have your first encounter with King Kong. The massive animatronic ape appeared from the darkness, reaching out towards the tram. The figure's eyes glowed, and its facial movements were shockingly lifelike. It wasn't just the size that was intimidating, but its sheer realism. The tram would shake and sway as if Kong had grabbed it, making guests feel as if they were moments away from being snatched by the giant ape. And if that wasn't enough, the final scene took the experience to another level. As the tram neared the end of the ride, you faced another massive King Kong animatronic. This time it was even closer. Kong's massive hand reached out, inches from the tram. Air blasts simulated the force of his movements, and fans blew a distinct smell of banana breath, giving guests a sensory experience they'd never forget. The attention to detail in these effects made it feel like you were truly part of an epic showdown. Kongfrontation quickly became a fan favorite and a symbol of Universal Studios Florida. It was an attraction that embodied Universal's vision of putting guests in the movies and making them feel like they were part of the action. It wasn't just about the thrill, it was about the storytelling. Kongfrontation was more than just a ride. It was an immersive, interactive experience that stayed with you long after you left the park. In the 1990s, Universal was competing with Disney for theme park supremacy, and Kongfrontation was a critical part of their strategy. The ride showcased what Universal could do differently from its competitor, deliver a high-octane, thrilling adventure that pushed the boundaries of theme park technology. This helped Universal carve out a unique identity and attract a different audience, positioning itself as the place where movie magic came to life in a more intense, visceral way. The ride was also influential beyond Universal. It inspired other theme parks and attractions around the world to invest in animatronics and special effects, raising the bar for immersive experiences. Kongfrontation's use of giant animatronics showed the potential for integrating physical and digital elements to create a believable, multi-sensory attraction. But despite its popularity and cultural impact, Kongfrontation wasn't destined to last forever. After more than a decade of operation, the ride closed in 2002. One of the main reasons for its closure was the high maintenance cost of the animatronics. Keeping the massive King Kong figures operational required constant upkeep, and as technology advanced, the ride became less efficient to operate. The closure of Kongfrontation also made way for new attractions. In 2004, Universal replaced the ride with Revenge of the Mummy, a high-speed indoor roller coaster that incorporated advanced animatronics and special effects. While many fans were disappointed to see Kongfrontation go, the new ride demonstrated how Universal continued to innovate and evolve. Even though Kongfrontation has been gone for over 2 decades, it remains a cherished memory for many fans. Online forums and fan groups often share stories and photos of the ride, reflecting on what made it so special. Some guests recall how terrified they were by the lifelike movements of the animatronic King Kong, while others remember the excitement of the tram shaking as Kong reached for them. Universal has also paid homage to Kongfrontation in subtle ways. For instance, there are Easter eggs and tributes in other attractions in areas of the park, reminding fans of the ride's legacy. In fact, Universal Studios' Hollywood Studio Tour features an updated King Kong experience called King Kong 360 3D, which utilizes 3D technology and special effects to create a similar sense of excitement. Additionally, Skull Island Reign of Kong at Universal's Islands of Adventure pays homage to the original ride, bringing King Kong back to Universal with a new immersive adventure. But no matter how many new versions of Kong emerge, the original Kongfrontation ride holds a special place in theme park history. It was one of those experiences that left a lasting impact, and even today, many guests wish they could relive the thrill of coming face to face with the giant ape. Kongfrontation was more than just an attraction. It was an experience that symbolized Universal Studios Florida's early days and its commitment to bringing blockbuster movies to life. From its groundbreaking animatronics to its immersive storytelling, the ride set the standard for what theme parks could achieve. Though it closed its doors in 2002, the memory of Kongfrontation lives on in the hearts of those who experienced it and in the legacy it left behind. And who knows, maybe one day Universal will bring back a version of Kongfrontation with today's technology, allowing a new generation of fans to experience the thrill of facing King Kong. Have you ever ridden Kongfrontation? Or would you have braved an encounter with King Kong? Let me know your thoughts and memories in the comments below. And make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any more of our amazing videos.